Special edition, and with us over the phone is His Excellency Ambassador Mohamad Hegazy, former Assistant Foreign Minister. We're covering the U.S. and Israeli strikes that targeted Iran today with retaliation on Iran's part, and we're joined by Ambassador Mohamad Hegazy to give us a full comment over the situation right now after both parts retaliated with strikes over each other. Good afternoon, Ambassador Mohamad.
Good afternoon to you.
How are you, sir? We're talking about a possible escalation inside the region, and given the fact that the U.S. and Israel have earlier launched missiles over to Iran, and Iran retaliated later on. So what's your assessment over the probably fatalities, probably the losses, the damages? How do you assess those strikes? Are they a similar scenario of the past ones, or what exactly?
Thank you very much. First, this is the early hours of the American-Israeli joint attack on Iran. This is another escalation of the situation in the Middle East and in the Gulf region. In particular, attacking Iran reflects an American and Israeli repeated behavior. They haven't given enough time to the diplomacy where a third round of talks would have took place in Vienna. And after many interventions, there were certain areas of consensus between the parties, negotiating parties, and certain area of differences. They should have given those differences the time to resolve, but it seems that the intention from the early beginning was to attack Iran. Either this attack is another round of pressure on Iran so that it will yield in the negotiating table and bring in Iranian loose position or an Iranian flexibility in accepting the American position. But from this theme of the military escalation and the attacks on the Iranian leadership, I think all analyses are going towards an American-Israeli decision for a regime change. If this is the plan, the cost will be very hasty, not only on the American-Israeli attacking troops, but also on the Gulf region, as well as the American presence in many bases, military bases in different countries. As we've heard today, the Iranians have attacked the bases in almost Gulf states, including Arbil in Iraq. As you know, the Arbil base has become the base that took place and become the major American presence in Iraq after ending the presence in Ain al-Assad down south. So as the attack goes, the Israelis have announced that Iranians have started attacking Tel Aviv and Haifa in many parts of the Gulf, including Doha, Riyadh, Abu Dhabi, have witnessed also Iranian attacks. What is alarming also that the Houthis have decided to resume their obstruction to naval American and Israeli vessels, so that we should...
Right, Ambassador Hegazy, if I could get in here to make it a little bit clear as we as in the first day. This is operation, as the Pentagon earlier gave a statement calling it Operation Epic Fury. I don't know what kind of fury, but anyway, this Operation Epic Fury has a very specific, strange timing, especially that they know that this is a holy month to the Islamic world and the Arab world in general, and also the retaliation of Iran hitting American bases you said in Saudi Arabia, in UAE, and different Gulf countries, and there could be an annexing. And also, were there strikes that was taken over Israel?
Well, yeah, they have started already attacking it.
Kind of like comparing to the first round, this is a little bit much more faster.
I think we are witnessing two scenarios. Either a repetition of what has happened before the 12 days war, or the Americans, as they have started attacking the Grand Mosque premises and the government and the other places, that we are heading for an American-Israeli attempt to a regime change, or it is just an attack that will punish the Iranian position in the negotiation to drag it towards more predictability. But I think when you ignite a war, it is very difficult to decide how far you can go. It is a very alarming and dangerous situation that the Israeli and the Americans have put the whole region in, and time has come maybe for all the
whole region in a chaos.
Yeah,
but then someone would ask, any observer would ask, again, because this is illegal to ask, this is a legal question. If you see that some country is having some enriching uranium or having atomic weapons or anything, and you need to stop this manufacture of, or this activities of atomic weapons, you have to have a decision or that is released by an international community system like the United Nations. But this did not happen.
No,
you can't just go and hit any other country. This is again repeated again by the United States. That was repeated before in Iraq with no evidence, and has to come with reports from the IAEA, and that did not come, specify that there are atomic weapons, but still they launched the strikes. How legal is that?
Well, of course, you have implied in your question the answer. This is very illegal, and this is a situation where international law and the world community are put aside. Yesterday, President Trump was talking about a peaceful control over Cuba, and before that he controlled all the wealth and the intervention in Venezuela that has been witnessed and seen by all, that this is a very legitimate act of violence that led to a change of regime, a control over a wealth, similar to what happened in Iraq, but in a different way. So if the quest towards more acquisition of the energy capability of Iraq, then it is a repetition of what has happened in the 50s and the 60s and the Western American trial against the Mossad government in Iraq. It's a continuation of the same pattern of unilateral acts using violence without resorting to international law, and controlling and change regimes in countries by force. This is very illegal, and this is, I think, the American national security strategy. We will understand that it is now the language of violence, the language of force. The repetition of the Israeli-American act reflects respect to international law and legality, and forcing regime change by using force is something truly will lead us to the world where the strongest will prevail, and small nations will find no one to defend their interests. It is a very alarming moment, but the American administration is following a pattern that hasn't changed since last confrontation. They want a regime change in Iran. They tried social unrest over the past few weeks, but with no avail. So they are trying now to inflict a military intervention over the Iranian regime so that they can change it. The negotiation was going on on the first instance before the 12 days war. And today again, the negotiation was open and going on to a third round in Vienna. But what we are witnessing today is a clear manifestation of the Israeli-American aggression over Iran and over the whole region, leading the whole region to where we are, violence and killings and fighting everywhere, and closure of the navigation routes by the Houthis. War can start, and you don't know when it will end. You remember Russia, Ukrainian or Russia-Western war in Ukraine has proven after 4 years that the language of violence and war will lead us nowhere but more destruction.
Exactly. But let me get in here and ask you another question. The reason I asked about the timing is because just in his second term, Donald Trump presenting himself to the world as a peace ambassador and a broker of peace, a good broker of peace, who succeeded in brokering one of the biggest peace agreements with Egypt, with the biggest help of Egypt, of course, and settling peace, the peace mission inside Gaza, and then followed by another round of rehabilitation and construction and all that, and creating the peace board and all this, and then striking another country in the region and creating chaos inside the region. How is that going to coordinate together? That doesn't seem to be right. So the timing also is sending a message of uncertainty and a message of incredibility on the United States' part. And what is the role of Israel?
Well, I think in relation to the situation in Iran, definitely Iran has to answer many questions, but to answer it diplomatically and through political pressure and even the severe sanctions. The process was on and the negotiation was going well, and they should have continued. But the Israelis believe that if Iran came with any kind of deal, it will rebuild its ability and it will become a regional power that will keep threatening Israel. So Israel has played a fundamental role in bringing in the United States last year for the first time in confronting Iran, and they don't want to lose this opportunity. They want to keep the United States confronting Iran, and they can help. They cannot confront Iran alone without hasty prices. But if the confrontation, as they have designed it since last year, using the inclination of the new administration of President Trump towards Israel, they don't want to let go. The Americans should be the one who run the war against Iran, and they can be on the back as a supporting ally. And this is what happened in the first war, and the Americans swallowed the same problem and went into another war against Iran, believing that they can do a regime change, they can control the oil wealth in Iran, they can put Iran aside from allying itself with Russia or China. So they will deprive China from 13% of their oil imports. And this is another dimension. The United States, while looking at China and its strategic national security documents, they believe that China is their next enemy. And to prevent China from free navigation, they want to control the trade. At the same time, from the energy, they want to control the wealth in oil in the oil wealth in Iran, so that they prevent China from striving in its huge industries by using the energy resources from Venezuela, which is almost even if they sell the same oil to China, but they are the one who are controlling the wheel, so that the same approach to Iran to prevent an alliance between Iran and Russia on the military hardware and between Iran and China. At the same time, give some security to the Israelis who are now behind the scene, maybe sending few flights here and there, but they know that the big couple, the United States, is in action, and they will protect them. This is how the matter is going on now. What we may still hope that the international community tries to pull hands together, maybe to stop war at this stage, where the two parties will resume Vienna talks and try to reach, although it is far imagined solution, and I think when more Mongols control the decision making in China, in Israel and in the United States, I think they will go back. No one knows how far are we going and how can we stop this carnage that has started.
Exactly. Again, going back to the first round of confrontations between military confrontations between the U.S. and Iran, Israel did not really have that much of a role at the first time. However, they have, of course, a foundation of roles in the Iranian file. But at the same time, comparing this round to the first one, you could find lots of differences. First of all, in the middle of negotiations, the strikes came. I mean, all of a sudden. The second thing is that there are many other spheres that are going to be affected or have implications to carry. First of all, we have the strikes that were taken seriously on where the American forces are located in Riyadh and other Gulf countries and all that. And then we have Lebanon also, and we have the Red Sea, which there is possible chaos that could happen. How do you assess the situation in that case?
Well, as you said, this is a very dangerous unfolding situation. I don't think the United States, after deciding this attack, will stop before, as it believes, they change the regime. But Iranians are very resilient, and I think they will fight their war, and maybe they will prevent the Americans from changing their regime. But they look to the scenario shows that the American and Israelis will keep, for at least as they announced, 4 days, attacking severely all areas where a threat might come against them. This is their habit. Like in Iraq, they kept attacking Iraq for weeks before they put their boots on the ground. So I think they will do whatever is possible to cripple all the Iranian defenses over the coming few days, and then they will start either from within some kind of movement, or maybe the American carriers will move to the Iranian shore, and boots on the ground will come to create like an American presence where they can develop an entry into Tehran. I think they may also seek some support from the interior, from the Iranian internal ranks, and this has happened in many places. But as I said, Iranians have in their mind those plans, and they will counter. That will cause damages all over the Middle East. We could have definitely promote the diplomatic and political solutions, but the Israelis pushing the Americans to a new venture. If successful, they will gain access to the Gulf and control over the wealth of Iran, and present an alliance that exists between Russia, Iran, and between China.
Right. On that note, of course, Ambassador Mohamad Hegazy, former Assistant Foreign Minister, would like to thank you so much talking to us on Special Edition, and you have a good day.